Hi, and welcome to Colby's Corner. I'm Colby, and this show is designed to explore our world from a kid's perspective. And we're going to be going to fun and fascinating places. And then we're going to learn how God ties into everything. So sit back and get ready, because Colby's Corner starts now. Today I have a special guest from South Carolina Aquarium, Shannon Teeters. Hi Shannon, what do you do here?
I'm an aquarist here.
So you take care of all the animals?
Not all of them. I take care of the seahorses, octopus, juvenile sea turtles, the jellyfish, and other marine fish and invertebrates.
So do you take care of the animals in here?
I do.
And what is exactly in here?
In here we have a common octopus hidden under the rock. We have some flounder, some southern and summer flounder, some oyster toadfish, and a blue crab.
So that's all the ones in here. And as you can see, the flounder are really good at camouflage. There's one right here and one right there, but I can barely see them. And Shannon, what does the octopus do to protect itself?
Well, it's really good at camouflage. It can change its color on a dime to match its environment. Like right now, he's hidden under the rock, and it might be hard to see, but he's white, just like the sand is. And he can get brown like the rock. When he's aggressive, he'll get red.
He was red earlier, so does that mean he was really mad and aggressive?
It could be. They can also change the texture of their skin. So he can make himself look like a rock. That's the best way he can defend himself from predators, by hiding. Another way is he can throw out ink and create an ink cloud. He has an ink sac that allows him to do that. And that's another way to blind the predators so they can't see him and he can make his escape.
So how big does that octopus right there, how big would that be?
This is an adult octopus. They only live 1.5 to 2 years. So he could get a little bit larger, but that's pretty much adult size.
And you were talking about the ink, that they have ink. How do they make that ink?
They have a special ink sac that produces it for them. It's biological compounds, and they blow it out, and it's almost like black smoke, so it blinds those predators.
And so I think that's about all in this exhibit. Thank you, Shannon. And we will be moving on to see another exhibit.
Hey, how you guys doing out there? Hey, I'm Painter Pete, and I just want to say thank you for watching Colby's Corner. And you know, it looks like Colby is having an absolute blast there at the aquarium. You know, here's a little fun fact for you. Did you know that there are over 60,000 different animals there at the aquarium? I don't even think I can name 20 of them. Well, let's see what we can do. We got the shark, we got the octopus, we got the alligator. I think they had, what was it? It was called a yellow belly sliding turtle, maybe? Yeah, after that one, I'm done. All right. You know, that is really cool. And you know who created them? That's right, it was God. And you know, there's just 60,000 there at the aquarium. How many more are there in the ocean? And even how many more are there on the earth? I mean, talking like on land, like dry land, like the lions, the tigers, the bears, oh my. You know, all that kind of stuff. There are so many different animals out there. And that started making me think, you know, how big is God who created all these different animals? And speaking of how big God is, it reminded me of a scripture back in Isaiah. You know, Isaiah, that's in the Old Testament. So let's see here. It was Isaiah 40:12, I think it was. Where's my paintbrush? Hold on. All right, it was in Isaiah 40:12. All right, and here's what it says. Who measured the oceans in the palm of his hand? Well, you know who the who is in here? That's right, it's God. And can you think about that? Think about this. He can measure the entire ocean of the earth in the palm of his hand. How much water do you think your palm can hold? You know, I know mine can't hold hardly anything. I mean, it may be like a few drops here and there, but it can't hold the entire ocean. I mean, that is a lot of water. Well, I want you to think about how big God is. And while you're thinking about how big God is, let's go join Colby at the USS Yorktown.
Hey, we're down here at Patriots Point Naval Museum, and today we're going to get an inside look at the USS Yorktown.
Colby, this is the Medal of Honor Museum. It's the national headquarters for the Medal of Honor. All the names on that list are men who received the Medal of Honor all the way back from the Civil War to present time. Some of them died in the process of their duty, and they did something really amazing. They were very brave, and the president decided to give them that medal. And there's a lot of, as you can see, there's a lot of names up on there. And what I want to do is take you inside and kind of let you look at it. There's a lot of exhibits in there, and there's some pictures of the medal, and some copies that you might like to see. This is something you might find real interesting. The youngest recipient of the Medal of Honor was only 12 years old, and his name was Willie Johnson. And he got the Medal of Honor in the Civil War.
For the drummer boy?
Yeah, he was a drummer boy, and he received the Medal of Honor, and he served in the Union Army. And it was presented to him in 1863, and he was the youngest person ever to receive the Medal of Honor. Now, this whole area here, there's 3 different stories about different people who have received the Medal of Honor. Now, and you can press the button on any one of these.
This button?
Yeah, see, now it's playing one right now. It's playing the story of Douglas Monroe. Now, Douglas Monroe was in the Coast Guard, and he was the only person in the Coast Guard ever to get the Medal of Honor. He's the only one. In fact, they've named a ship after him.
Still to this day, he's the only Coast Guard?
Still to this day, he's the only one that received the Medal of Honor who served in the Coast Guard.
That's a good record.
Oh, yeah. Now, here's some bigger representations of the medal.
Whoa, those are huge.
Yeah, and you get a kind of a better idea of how they look, and there's a little bit more detail to them.
Yeah.
You know, and it kind of explains what each of the pieces of the medal represent. Yeah. So you want to go look at some airplanes?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm all for it.
All right. When this ship was in service, this was like a big hangar, or maybe you might even want to think of it as a big garage, you know?
It was like a big garage for airplanes.
And they parked all the airplanes down here. Now, when I was telling you about the hangar deck, do you know how many planes they could keep on this hangar deck? Want to take a guess?
My guess will be about 100.
You're close. It was 90. They could keep 90 aircraft down here.
It looks big enough. I can believe that.
Yep. Now this particular jet over here,
The 116.
Yep, that's called an F9, and they used that in Korea, and it was used as a fighter plane. You see right here, there used to be guns in there.
Right here?
And they could drop bombs with this plane. You want to sit in that plane a minute and kind of get a feel for that cockpit?
Sure.
You just walk up there and sit in it and kind of get an idea. This is called a Sky Raider. Now this plane was made right near the end of World War II, and they used it in Korea and in Vietnam. But you know what they used to call this plane? The flying dump truck. And you know why they called it that?
Because my guess is probably going to be because they can hold a lot of soldiers and they would
Well, you're kind of close. You can carry a lot of bombs. This one plane here could carry more bombs than a bomber from World War II called a B-17. And that had 4 engines on it.
What?
And this one only had 1 engine, and it can carry more bombs than that plane
It
did.
must have a really powerful engine.
Very powerful engine. You see how big that engine is?
Look how big these blades are.
Mm-hmm, yeah, it's pretty something. Now this gun over here, this is from it. When this ship here was in World War II, there was a bunch of these guns on the ship.
I saw one outside on the
Yep.
deck.
And this came off the USS Franklin, which was the sister ship to the Yorktown. And if you look real close, you see all these holes?
Is it bullet holes?
There were bullet holes in what they call shrapnel, pieces of metal.
And like, what war was this gun made in?
World War II.
World War II?
Yep. Uh-huh. Now, this is a Corsair. This was one of the fastest planes in World War II. You notice anything different about this plane?
Like had the little neck thing?
Yeah, how the wings drop down like that. They call it that's what they call a gull wing design.
And this little flap.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it has wheels.
Yep. They all have wheels. But you know what this thing is called?
A tail hook.
Yeah, you know what it's used for?
No.
All planes that fly off of ships, off of carriers, have one of these on the back end. Now, when they come in for a landing, that hook drops down and it catches a wire. It's a wire just like that. This is the flight deck, and it catches that wire and it stops the plane.
It'll make it like a sudden jerk or
Yep.
stop it, or
And then
make
it'll
like a little slow stop.
it'll slow it. And the wire will stretch out a little bit. They have it on like a pulley or it's almost like a rubber band. And it'll stretch out a little bit, and then it'll slow the plane down. And then they could bring it back down into the hangar bay. You know what that plane is over there?
Isn't that the Wright brothers?
That's exactly right. That's the Wright brothers plane.
And is this one of the like the things that they used in the Apollo 8 space mission?
Well, that's the Apollo over there, and this is what they called Mercury.
Mercury.
Back in the 60s, you had this type of capsule that went into space, and only one man would be in there. You see how its seat is?
Yeah.
And then after that, they had the Gemini program, which was 2-man, and then you had this one here, which is the Apollo, which was 3-man.
Was it true that from people that dropped from the Apollo 8 space mission, would this ship go get him?
Yep. When the Apollo 8 mission was over, and this, now this is a copy of what, it's not the real one. But what happened is when this was parachuted down into the ocean, and the crew from the Yorktown picked this up out of the water with a helicopter and brought it back to the ship and brought the astronauts back.
But how do they know we're the Apollo 8?
They had radar. They could track it on the radar on the ship, and there was planes flying around looking for the parachute.
And so if this was sitting in the water, it would float?
Yeah. It had a big old collar around it, like a big a big ring, almost like a donut.
Yes, sir.
And it would go around here, and it would, right before it hit the water, or as soon as it hit the water, it would blow open, and it would keep this thing afloat.
And would he had to do that in there, or it would do it by
It would be
itself?
done automatically.
Ooh, and this one looks like it can hold 3 people?
Yeah, this one would hold 3 people. It sure would.
We're back with Miss Kelly from the South Carolina's Aquarium. Miss Kelly, what do you do here?
I'm the Sea Turtle Rescue Program Manager.
So you're the one that if there's a call of like a hurt sea turtle, you're the one that goes get it?
Well, the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources, they are the state agency that responds to strandings. But then we're like a hospital, just like a human hospital. When that stranding gets picked up, wherever it is in the water or on the beach, they bring it to us and we take over from there to make it all better.
So if someone brought you a turtle with a broken leg or a cracked shell, you would fix it?
That's exactly right.
If I was hurt, and if I was a turtle, I would come here.
This is a great place to be if you're a turtle. We always talk about, we get more and more turtles every year, and we say we think those turtles that get released are going out and telling their friends that this is the best place to come.
So what do we have right here? What kind of turtle is this?
This is a very young loggerhead sea turtle that was found stranded, and he was very lethargic and unable to move. And when we brought him in and did blood work and x-rays, we found out he had metabolic bone disease, which basically, if you look at the x-ray photograph up on the board, you can see that you really couldn't see any of the bones in his body. So this turtle, we our thinking may have been kept as a hatchling in a home aquarium and fed all the wrong things and maybe never saw daylight, which is UV, and that's critical to bone growth. This is Hamlin Creek. We named most of the turtles after where they're found. So Hamlin Creek is the creek behind the Isle of Palms here in Charleston, and this turtle had a really bad skin infection, and it was causing a lot of the tissue to really be lost on the flippers and the neck. And she has gotten better over time, but you can see that even the flippers are a little shorter, and there's just a lot of tissue loss there.
And she has like her little clam friends or something.
Where's that?
On her side, her shell.
Yeah, those are barnacles. Barnacles are naturally occurring on sea turtles. But if you see the picture of her when she first came to us, she's covered in a lot of tiny barnacles, and that's when you know that something is wrong with the turtle. That's an abnormal load of barnacles.
So y'all just kept those guys with her so she doesn't get lonely?
Yeah, they're not hurting the turtle, and there's really no reason to take them off, and they're actually really cool animals. Do you see they're invertebrates? Do you see they have the little cilia that they're extending out into the water, and they're trying to feed using those cilia. So
they're cool looking.
They are cool looking.
And who is this cutie right here?
This is a Kemp's Ridley sea turtle. This is actually the most endangered of all the sea turtle species. We named him after the guy who helped to fly these turtles down from the New England Aquarium. So this turtle and 6 others were cold stunned off of the New England coast. It's actually in Massachusetts.
And like, what was wrong with him when the guy gave her, or y'all just?
Yeah, so cold stunning means basically these turtles are cold-blooded animals. That means they take on the temperature of their surroundings. You're a warm-blooded animal. You are always 98 degrees inside of your body, right?
Yes,
Even
ma'am.
if it's 50 degrees outside, you're still 98 degrees. These guys, if it's 58 degrees outside, they're 58 degrees inside, and that causes big problems. So when it gets really, really cold off of the New England coast in the wintertime, if these guys haven't migrated out yet, they become cold stunned. Basically, it's hypothermic shock. Eventually they can get pneumonia, they get frostbite lesions on their skin, and if they're in it for more than a few days, they can even die from the cold water.
Now what is that?
Now this is called a fish pop. We freeze fish inside of ice, and it's always much bigger than their mouths can actually get around. And as it starts to melt, it will put the scent in the water, and it makes him excited, and he wants to bite at it.
He does.
But he can't eat it because it's too big for his mouth. So it's just a way to stimulate them while they're in our care. See, he's gotten a little more excited since that has been
He's
in the tank.
Well, thank you for talking with us today, and I think that's about it for the turtles. Thank you.
Hey, are you a kid and want to ask Colby a question? Well, ask your parents first, then email him at askcolby@ WLCN.TV. Now, let's join Colby back at the USS Yorktown.
When there was sailors on this ship, enlisted guys, this is where they slept at. And you see some of them are 4 high. And some of the other rooms, they're 5 high. You're not afraid of heights, are you?
No, sir. Can I get on
Yeah,
that
you
one?
can try it. Just make sure you don't hit your head. Okay.
How would Boy Scouts get up here?
Yeah, and there's going to be Boy Scouts in there tonight. You might want to go in this one. There's a little bit more room. It's like a bunk bed.
Yeah, it is. It's a really tall bunk bed.
That's right. It's like a big old bunk bed.
I have a bunk bed, but there's only 2 beds.
Yeah, well, this one's 4, and then there used to be some that were even higher. There used to be one right below that piece of steel and that ceiling right there. There used to be one
What
even.
if you're that high and you woke up and hit your head on the concrete?
A lot of them did that. Oh yeah, I'm sure of it. And you see, those guys that were up on the top, they could hear those airplanes taking off.
Yeah.
Hear that noise all night.
I would want the 4th one if I was sleeping here.
You would?
Yeah.
Well, let me show you some other things on here. Well, you know what's really interesting about this? We have campers that come here every weekend. Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Royal Rangers, different youth groups, and they all stay in these right here. They bring their sleeping bags here, and then they camp out for the whole weekend, and they eat on the ship, and they tour the ship, and it's pretty interesting stuff. You need some help coming down?
I think I got it.
Okay, let's see. You got it? Be careful. Now, if somebody was sleeping down there, you'd step on their face.
Really, you would? No,
Maybe.
you would probably let them go get off first.
Yeah, you can do that. Right in here, there's bathrooms and toilets, and take a look at these sinks over here. You might find this really
These?
interesting. Yeah, and there's showers. Now take a look at these sinks. They're not like sinks at home. Yep, and they got their water, and this is where the sailors used to come in and get cleaned up. They had the showers back here, and then they would shave and brush their teeth and all that. But now the youth groups that come on the ship, they use these.
Hold on, I'll be right back after this short break.
Do you want to be part of Colby's Corner? Well, ask your parents' permission first, then go to colbyscornertv.com or to his Facebook page at facebook.com/Colby's Corner. Let's go see where Colby is now.
Hi, I'm here with Miss Kendall from the South Carolina Aquarium. Miss Kendall, what do you do here?
I take care of all the mammals here.
So, like, the otters and...
The otters, yes.
Is there any other mammals here?
We actually have a possum right now. She's used for program animals, so she comes out for special programs.
And so, have y'all named the otters yet?
Yes, their names are Ace and Stono.
A boy and a girl?
2 boys.
Oh.
2 boys.
Now they're out of their log and swimming around. How, do they act?
Well, they do like to swim quite a bit, but they also spend a lot of time up on land. As you saw, they were sleeping first, but they also spend a good amount of their time in the water. They usually get into the water to hunt, to try to find their food. And pretty much anything that they can catch, they will try to eat. They have really nice sharp teeth in there, and anything that they can catch, they're going to eat up.
And what is this one's name?
This is Ace.
Oh, that's Ace? How
Yes.
can you tell?
I can tell because of his markings and his coloration. Stono is much more white on the front, whereas he is not. He's much darker.
He's much more playful. Oh, wow, I can see the sharp teeth now. If you look carefully, you can see the sharp
those
teeth.
When they're underwater like that, they actually have these flaps of skin that come over and close up their nose and also close up their ears. And so when they're swimming underwater, they don't get water up their nose or into their ears.
That's good.
cool.
I wish humans did that.
Yeah, me too. And they can actually hold their breath for almost 4 minutes or so.
Well, Well,
Big feet.
thank you for being with me today.
You're
Miss
welcome.
Randall.
Thank you.
Thank you, and we will be moving on.
All right, enjoy.
Oh, hey guys, how you guys doing? It's Painter Pete here again. You know, it looks like Colby was having a lot of fun today. And those two different places that he went out to the USS Yorktown and to the aquarium. You know, I was thinking about those two places, and I came up with something that was in common with both of them. You know what it is? That's right, it's the ocean. Did you know that the Earth is covered with water? You know how much the Earth is covered with water? 3/4 of the Earth is covered in water. You know, that is a lot of water. I mean, that is a lot of water. I mean, we're only living on, what, 25% of land of the Earth? Wow, that's really cool. All right, so here's a fun fact for you. Did you know that the Yorktown can hold 3,500 people? You know, that is a lot of people, and that is a lot of beds on that ship. But I want to tell you something that I was thinking about with both of these places. You know, the USS Yorktown is a pretty big ship. The ocean is a pretty big ocean. Like I said, it covers 3/4 of the Earth. But those aren't the biggest things that I could think of. You know what the biggest thing I could think of was? That's right, it was God. God is so big. You know, I was starting to think about how big God really is, and I started really thinking, you know, how big is God? And then I remembered the scripture that we talked about earlier in the show, remember? Isaiah 40:12. Remember what it said? It said that God can hold the entire ocean in the palm of his hand. That's right here. That is right there, holding all the water in the palm of his hand. You know I can't hold that much water in my hand, but even that little bit of water that I can hold, that is like God holding all the ocean and all the water of the earth in the palm of his hand. You know, that is one really big hand. Could you imagine what that big hand can do? And if that's just his hand, how much bigger is God than that? You know, that is something really cool to think about. You know, let's look at that scripture one more time. Remember, it's Isaiah 40:12. Hold on, here we go. All right, see, Isaiah 40:12, and it says, "Who measured the oceans in the palm of his hand?" You know, that who, remember, is God. And God can measure the entire ocean in the palm of his hand. You know, that's really cool. Hey, I want to tell you guys, thanks for joining us today on Colby's Corner. And if you have any questions, I want you to email us at askcolby@WLCN.tv. Or you can visit us on Facebook. That's Facebook.com/Colby's Corner. Just like us there, you know. Give us a thumbs up and let us know what you're thinking. Hey, we also have a lot of really cool things that are going on there on the Facebook page. We got giveaways, we got prize packs, you know. So just watch that and like us on Facebook and let us know what you're thinking. Well, I got to get back to painting, and I will see you next time right here on Colby's Corner.